Thank you so much. They're going to start off their first song, but they have their first announcer is
It's Hammer.
Amherst. Come on.
Our first piece is Fanfare for the Fearless by composer Brian Bomages. A fanfare is a bold and exciting musical announcement often used to open important events or ceremonies. This piece celebrates bravery, determination, and the courage it takes to face challenges. You'll hear strong rhythms and powerful brass sounds that give the music a heroic and confident feeling. Bomages is known for writing music that's exciting and dramatic for young bands. We hope this powerful opening gets our concert off to a fearless start. Please enjoy Fanfare for the Fearless. Our next announcer is Mario. Next, we will perform Nocturnal Dances by Robert Smith. The word nocturnal means nighttime, and this piece images mysterious dances happening after dark. As you listen, you may hear music that feels sneaky, mysterious, or even playful. The rhythms and shifting styles create the feeling of different creatures come out when the sun goes down. Robert Smith was a well-known composer who wrote many exciting works for band students and professional musicians alike. See what kinds of nighttime images you can imagine while listening to nocturnal dances.
they've been working really hard for Moscato, as you can tell. Our next speaker is Morgan.
Our next selection is Walking with the Pride by Michael Ray. The word pride can be confidence and strength, but it can also refer to a woman line. This bold piece captures the feeling of moving forward together with determination and humility, using strong melodies and steady rhythms that help create a sense of a powerful group walking side by side. Michael Ray has written many popular band pieces that are fun to play and exciting to hear. Please enjoy the confident sound of Walking the Pride.
Before we start this, I want to kind of make sure you know, about a month ago, this song was kind of a hot mess. And I was like, okay, have a good day, it's better. And, they work really, really hard to sit in band and to get that grit that it takes to sit there and kind of wait your turn and really dig in when it's frustrating. This song required that though. And it came in really, really long ways. So as you listen, one of the things we talk about is balance. And we're working on that a lot. As you can hear, can you hear the melody? Can you hear the counter melody? Can you hear the bass lines? And this song has a lot of that. So I wanted to make sure that you are aware and to listen, because there is a lot going on at one time. And I wanted you to listen for that because they worked really hard so you can hear all of the parts. All right, so here is Walking with the Pride. Our next speaker is Chase.
Up next is House Walker by Red Hills. In a patient in the military, A squadron is a team that works together to accomplish a mission. The word alpha often represents leadership and being bros. This energetic piece uses driving rhythms and strong musical lines to create the feeling of a squadron preparing for action. Listen for the exciting momentum that keeps the music moving forward. Get ready for an adventurous physical flight to a powerful squadron.
So we were playing this one day, and I'm very ADD, so someone caught my attention, and I was like, hey, Greg Hillis. I looked at Mr. Champ, like, don't we know a Greg Hillis? And so I got on my Facebook after school, and I was like, I messaged him, and the guy, you know, named Greg, he's a horn player, he's great. And I was like, is this your song? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, no way. So the song you were playing, this guy lives in Sherry. He runs the Snowbelt, what is it called? The Snowbelt Ensemble that you see in Shark performing sometimes. But I just think it's cool. He's a local composer. So here's Elda Squadron. So before our next announcer, I want to give a shout out because you might notice we have a new instrument in the band, and you might not, but it is the largest one in the band. And Hannah just recently switched over to play tuba about a month ago, and she really thought. It is so nice to have two. All right, where's my last announcer? All right. Our last announcer is Paige.
Our final piece is Sway by Robert Longfield. This well-known Latin dance song was officially written in 1953 and has been performed by many artists over the years. This music features smooth rhythms and a relaxed groove that gives it its signature dance style. Listen for the flowing melody and the Latin-inspired rhythms that made this piece feel like it belongs on a dance floor. Robert Longfield wrote this version especially for being so young. Musicians can bring this classic to life. Sit back, relax, and let the music sway.
Really quick before I lose my opportunity, thank you, parents, for all your support for what we do, your lessons, getting them here, and providing all of the instruments and things I need to play. And thank you to all of you for all of your hard work. This is an excellent concert, and I know you've worked hard, so I hope you feel proud of yourselves. Here's our last song, Sway.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. How about a round of applause for the 8th grade band that's seated in front of you up there? Thank you. The first tune we're going to do tonight is entitled Valley Forge March. Thanks so much. How about a hand for Liam Branham back there on the snare drum solo at the beginning of the song? Thank you. Our next tune is a Robert Sheldon composition entitled Rock Island Trail. Testing. There we go. Thank you so much. Our next tune is titled The Legend of Castle Armagh, which is a castle, an Irish castle. And it starts off very slow and pretty, and then there's kind of a chaotic battle scene in the middle of the song. And then it finishes with that slow, pretty song again. So here is The Legend of Castle Armagh. Thank you very much. Before the final song, I do have a few announcements. I wrote them down here because I tend to forget things. But for our 8th graders that are making the jump to marching band next year, our registration is going to be, and I'll send this out on emails as well, but our registration is going to be the evening of May 11th and May 18th. You only need to attend one of them, but we tend to do 2 nights, so in case someone has to work, they can attend the other night. Both of those take place from 6 to 7:30 in the Brush Band Room. And it's at the registration where you turn in some of the medical forms and liability releases and fee payments and things like that. So those are May 11th and May 18th, which are both Mondays in May. Students should attend as well as they get fitted for their uniforms at that time also. It's important that all kids that are going to be in the marching band do register because I take the list from registration and that's how I plot points on the field when we make the formations. So it's important that everyone's there. And I would encourage all of my 8th graders to try the marching band at least one year. It can be kind of a daunting task to look at as an 8th grader because it is a huge time commitment and it's very challenging. But a vast majority of kids that do it that first year end up really enjoying the challenge and the reward that they get from being in the marching band. Because it is very challenging, but it's also very rewarding. And obviously they sound great, and these kids play really, really well. It would be great to have them in the marching band. So, for those of you that like to plan ahead, our first week of marching band starts on July 21st, which is a Tuesday and runs that whole week, and then we leave for band camp the following Sunday. We do have a new band camp coordinator this year who is in the room. Andrea Johnson has agreed to do it, and she is going to be, and I will be reaching out and looking for chaperones and volunteers to help with that. It takes a lot, takes a village to make band camp happen. And we need lots of volunteers and lots of chaperones. If that's something you would be willing to do, please send me an email and we can get that going. It is, like everything anymore, it is a process. You can't just show up and be a chaperone. You have to pass a background check with the district, which can take a couple weeks. They have to send it out and then it gets mailed back. So if you want to be a chaperone at band camp, we need to start that process now. So there's time to get the background check and get all that taken care of before we leave for summer break. So if you are interested in that, I know it sounds kind of crazy, like why on earth would I want to go sleep in a dorm for a week with a bunch of high school students? But again, it's one of those things that it is very rewarding. It's usually just about every kid, it's their favorite part of the year is going to band camp for the most part. And it is a ton of work. It's not like we just go there and mess around. Like they are marching on the field for 7 hours a day and then another 2.5 hours of music rehearsal as well. Every day that they're there, they will come home exhausted, but again, it is very rewarding. And finally, as Mrs. Paul said earlier, thank you to all of you for supporting your kids and coming out and listening to us tonight. This isn't our last concert. We got one more concert in May, but thank you guys for coming out. You can clap for yourselves. You deserve it. I have kids too, and I know it's one of and thanks to Mrs. Paul as well. She is present for the second half of class every day with the 8th graders, and she's there to help hold individual kids and groups and work with them as well. So a lot of the success that we have here is because she's here helping. So could you give her a hand? Where is Mrs. And one more thanks to all the kids because they come in every day and work, and I say this every time. Yeah. There are days where they would rather come in and not do anything, and it doesn't take much. They always get out their instruments and they work, and that's a very valuable life skill to be able to do something productive even when you feel like you don't really want to. And I really respect all of them for that. I really do. So thank you guys for all your hard work. I know it is hard work. I've been there and I get it. So our final song tonight is called Free Spirit Overture. When we are done, the kids are going to move all the gear back to the band room. So if you could give us about 4 or 5 minutes to get all that through the doorway there, I think that's probably the easiest way. And then once they're done getting the gear, getting the gear out, you can just kind of follow us right out and we'll reach in the hallway, okay? Here is Free Spirit Overture.